Okay, welcome to the Mad Englishman with the little guitar and the big C. It's a new year, so it's a new episode, episode 5. This is going to be fun-packed with a biology lesson, a chemistry lesson, a world record attempt, and Wendy Lee, who, as you can see by the look on her face, will be involved in the world record attempt later.
It's not the chemistry part.
So, quick recap as to where we are. I had a diagnosis, cancer at the back of the tongue, 29th of March last year. I've had 30 radiotherapy and 5 chemo sessions between early May and mid-June. This is the 5th episode of the podcast series, and they're all really to share my experience on handling the diagnosis, handling the NHS system, which is episode 2, handling the treatment itself, and then handling the post-treatment session, which obviously we are still in now and will be for some time. So this is this episode's a continuation of that, with a focus on eating, drinking, toothpaste, and managing expectations. So there's a motley mix for you. So where am I at the moment? At the time of recording, this is week 38 for me since the start of the treatment. Since week 14, which was just after the treatment finished, then I've been on monthly, they call them one-stop shop appointments, and MRI, CT scans as necessary. Seems okay, but they seem very happy with the oncologists seem very happy with where I am, but there are still need for some scans due to an edema in the area. General feeling really, taste, as you may well know, taste is a problem. That's improving on the savoury front, but it's bizarrely. It needs quite a bit of salt added. Even more bizarre, it's also slowly improving on the sweet front, but sweet stuff still tastes very salty. So I think really partly it's improving and partly I'm adjusting my expectations. So that's why I think this is all about expectations. For me, as a bit of a self-confessed foodie, my food interest has returned, so I'm back to cooking. So I did the full Christmas dinner, cook and everything, and enjoyed it, but obviously it was fairly tiring. One interesting side effect is, because I don't eat massive portions or anything anymore, I eat tiny bits every now and again. I didn't gorge at Christmas, so I had bits and pieces as we went through, but it meant I could sit back in a quite self-righteous way and watch everybody going, "Oh no, I can't eat anymore. I just can't eat anymore." So that was good. Christmas itself was quiet. Christmas to New Year, there were a number of parties to go to, which again, I suppose because of what I've been through, I was a bit the centre of attention. So again, it was quite tiring, but at least I could sit in the kitchen at parties rather than stand in the kitchen at parties. So that was good, and it was a good excuse to not have to dance as well. So that was good. So I said this needs to be all about expectations, because your reaction and your mood during, I don't know how you find this with other people, but the reaction and mood during post-treatment depends a lot on what the expectations were. I think I said on the last one, and I heard somebody else either talking on the radio or on a written piece about how they felt absolutely distressed once you move from the treatment period to the post-treatment period, because everything is all about you in the treatment period, and then you go to the post-treatment and you're not on your own, but you feel like you are relatively on your own. So it's my reaction during that was very dry mouth, and I've still got a very dry mouth. I've still got lots of thick mucus and saliva system that isn't working properly. I still can't eat meat, potatoes, bread, pastry, that sort of thing. I can manage mince or veg or whatever with plenty of gravy and that sort of thing, but or bread with lots of butter, but it's only a very slow improvement. And thinking that through, my original reading of the material that you get, the post summary treatment, etc., was that the side effects will start to improve from 2 weeks after treatment. Should be okay by about 6 weeks after the treatment, but it might take as long as 12 weeks. Very few may take longer than that, and then the killer line, some may be permanent. Yeah, that was my interpretation. I'm not sure that they actually said that anywhere at all, but somehow I read it, and that's what I had in my mind. So on rereading this book, or reading this book for the first time, which is, I only discovered this a week or so ago, there are things in here that suggests it's going to take some months, and that seems to be backed up in retrospect with the view of the professionals when I've gone to the one-stop shop and I've said, oh, look, I've still got this bad throat, I still find it difficult to swallow, I've got this mucus, etc. And they go, well, it's early days yet. Well, that's not what I had in mind when I'd interpreted what was in the books as being, most people you'll be all right after 6 weeks, or maybe 12 weeks if you're unlucky, or this is week 37. And if now I know that, then I can cope with that. If I know it takes 2 years, then okay, if you know it's fairly normal for it to take 2 years or whatever, then you can cope with it. So it's all really, I think, about expectations. And I think if you can get the expectations right, then it's a bit of an old cliche, but you can plan for the worst and hope for the best then, and then you'll actually start to feel better if it comes quicker than otherwise. So I don't know if we can do something with the literature or something just to try and make it.
It's an interesting point, isn't it? And some of it as well, like you were saying, Mick, before, when symptoms weren't getting better, you thought, well, is this a permanent thing that was in the books? It could either take this, or could be permanent. And it's hard to pitch it, isn't it? Because some people like to know the worst case scenario and then work back and be pleasantly surprised or prepared. And some people don't. But it's a hard one to
a difficult one, yes. Yeah.
But I think, again, with this podcast, it will help because people will be listening and knowing actually some things do take. I think when it comes from somebody with lived experience,
yeah.
the literature's got its place, but I think hearing people's stories as well gives people hope.
Well, hopefully that's where we'll go with this. So the next part, after just that sort of introduction about the managing expectations, the next part really is to talk about. I want you to talk about the mechanics of eating, believe it or not, the mechanics of chewing and swallowing. And the reason for that is that, again, it's because of this book. It's called Managing the Late Effects of Head and Neck Cancer Treatment. And to quote the old Ron Seal ad, it does what it says on the tin. It really does. It lays a lot of stuff out there. It covers all sorts of stuff. I'm going to look down at the notes: dry mouth, mucus, your jaw, communication, neck and shoulder issues, swelling, pain, tiredness, everything really that you do covers. So it's a question of, here comes the biology lesson, really, because this was this was a real eye-opener for me. It was probably because I probably slept through all the biology lessons at school, except for the bits that any schoolboy might find interesting. But so this is all about how eating works, and I think Laura's going to put up a better version of the picture so that we can see it as I talk. What happens when you eat a mouthful? It involves the teeth, the tongue, the soft palate, the epiglottis, the throat, the gullet, and last but not least, saliva, okay, which makes it all work. So as you put some food in your mouth, saliva and your teeth work together to break the food down into a bolus. Now, I thought Brian Bolus was a Test cricketer in my day when I played for England and Yorkshire. But this is so the lump of food is a bolus. So the process of actually getting that into your stomach, your tongue goes to the top of the mouth, the soft palate then closes the gap at the back of your mouth to your nose, so that nothing can go to your nose. Now, I know that when earlier on in my sort of treatment and post-treatment stage, if I tried to drink something too quickly, it would actually go up and come out at the nose. So obviously there's something there originally in the muscles of the soft palate that stopped it going up to do that. Well, it's doing that all right now. So again, this is all part of the healing process. So the soft palate closes the gap up to your nose so that nothing can go down your nose. Then the muscles in the base of your tongue and your throat squeeze together to move this bolus down to your throat, and the epiglottis then closes the gap to your airway, so the food doesn't go down into your lungs unless something went down the wrong way, as they say. And then the gullet opens, and that's how you actually that's how your mouth and your throat work to get the food down. But the key driver in that is saliva, okay, and it's your saliva that allows that food to go into the bolus into the bolus shape and to be swallowed, and as it says in the book there, and it says in most of the literature, it's the saliva glands that really are hammered through the radiotherapy sessions. So that's why it is difficult to eat. At this point, we will move from here to the Bush Tucker trial area. Just quickly, while we're on the way to the next thing, I just want to give a bit of background to what we're going to be doing. Okay, so I'm grateful to Chris Curtis of the Swallow's Head and Neck charity for suggesting this as quite a good way of getting across some of the problems and issues with eating post-treatment. So start off with a couple of facts for you. Did you know that there is a world record for the number of cream crackers that you can eat in a minute? Well, there is, and even more bizarrely, what do you think the record is? How many cream crackers could you eat in a minute? Think about it for a while. Well, the answer is 6, which surprised me just a bit. So we're going to go in now, and we're going to give Wendy and Sally a slight variation on that. We're going to give them 2 minutes, and we're going to see how many cream crackers they can eat. So let's go in and see what we can do. Hello again, and welcome to the Bush Tucker trial clearing. Oh, sorry, wrong show. We're going to see how many cream crackers can be eaten in 2 minutes by Wendy and by Sally. So here we have Jacob's cream crackers, and as the adjudicator, I can warrant that they are Jacob's cream crackers. Other brands of cream crackers are available, by the way. So, ladies, you have 2 minutes to eat as many cream crackers as you can, starting from now. Interesting approaches here. This is very much the nibble. I would say that's the hamster approach that Wendy's showing. Whereas Sally's going for the big bites. So with 30 seconds in. Oh, no. Wendy's moving on to her second. There's a definite technique here. Oh, you think the cheeks come out like a hamster? Yes. That's 1 minute gone. Halfway through. And Sally's almost halfway through her first cream cracker. Better leave time to swallow. There's 25 seconds left. Were you paying attention when I did the biology lesson on the art of swallowing? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we are. Sorry, that was 2 minutes.
Have you swallowed any? But I've done one.
So.
And it's gone. But that was so hard.
So well done. The reason for doing it, apart from giving us a bit of a laugh at their expense, was really as a great way of demonstrating the problems that you have. Because the cream crackers it's a bit like the cinnamon challenge. Cream crackers just dry up your ability to produce saliva. So that's the sort of issues that people have post-treatment, where the saliva is just not breaking the food down. I'd read somewhere that after you've done this, you get a saliva rush. Have you got a saliva rush come now? Yeah. But again, that doesn't come for us. Yeah, it doesn't come for us when we when we do so.
It dries up all around, everywhere. It's dry. So like when you're giving your biology lesson and making a bolus, you can't.
No, because there's nothing. There's yeah.
So I just stored it instead.
So the hamster chicks.
So how many did you manage? 2 full ones and a bit
two and a bit. Yeah.
I did one.
Did one.
But
Yeah.
I did swallow it all.
Yeah, you see,
Yeah.
I just I had to keep swishing it round in my mouth to try and get the.
I couldn't.
No, it's something stopping you from swallowing it. But...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you weren't allowed to drink. Obviously, drinking's important to get through any meal, just to keep pushing it down. But that's why bread, particularly white bread, is the worst. Is the worst thing in many ways. It just completely blows up.
Yeah.
But with plenty of butter on it, it works. I find wholemeal bread is which I don't like normally, but wholemeal bread is easier to eat than white bread. So it might be a useful technique just to explain, just to so people can actually see what it's like for you to eat post-treatment. So back into the podcast. We've seen the results of the world record attempt, and I think it gives a very, very good and very clear example of why we will have problems in swallowing, etc., etc. So thank you for taking part in that. The whole point of this series of podcasts is for me to really share my recent and ongoing experience from each of the stages through, from diagnosis to hopefully cure or remission or whatever, in order to help those that are going through, and really to come out with the phrase that you use a lot, the lived experience. Why are we doing this? Well, one, because I would have liked something like that to help reduce the fear of the unknown. The thing that's been really sort of bugging me over the past few months of the post-treatment period is the importance of saliva and the problems that arise from our inability to produce it. And I think if you're at an earlier stage in the process, don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate the importance of the saliva. Yes, the demonstration was a good way to get across how difficult that is without the saliva. But the other important thing that the other important role of saliva is that it actually helps protect against tooth decay. And if you're not protecting it, if you're not producing it, it's not doing its job. Tooth decay is more likely given the treatment we've all had. That could well mean that you could end up having teeth removed, and if you have teeth removed, that could possibly start to cause some really big jaw problems, which leads me on to toothpaste. And I've started looking at this again, courtesy of the Swallow Head and Neck charity, who pointed out the problems there are with toothpaste, and they are potentially problems for everybody with toothpaste. And here comes the chemistry lesson, if you're ready for the chemistry lesson. All toothpaste includes a substance called sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS, and it's literally in unless it says SLS free, it's in your toothpaste. And this is a foaming agent. It's because apparently we quite like to have our toothpaste foaming in our mouth, but it's exactly the same stuff that goes into washing up liquid, washing liquid, carpet cleaners, and engine degreasers. And it is pretty nasty stuff. So there's some speculation around that it's carcinogenic. They're not sure. I think the jury's out on that at the moment. But in America, the research that's been carried out there links it absolutely to the use of the creation of what they call canker sores, which is mouth ulcers. Yeah, and that's as far as I've been able to read, that's a sort of proven fact. But without even that, the main problem for us is that what it does is it dries your mouth out. So I've been sort of religiously using toothpaste, just before I go to bed at night, and then wondering why my mouth is dry all night. Well, it's not just because of the SLS, because it will dry out anyway. But what I've been doing is I've been putting this stuff in my mouth, and it's making it worse. And what's more, it sort of destroys the oral lining, the lining of your mouth. So I'm amazed that these, yeah, unless I'm reading it wrong, which I don't think I am, then it's these are not very nice things to have in your toothpaste. For all sorts of reasons, it's worth going for an SLS free toothpaste. And there are lots and lots on the market. And if for no other reason, it actually makes the teeth cleaning a bit more comfortable, because it doesn't all foam up in your mouth, and you don't end up sort of looking in the mirror and look like a rabid dog, So that's worth looking at. But again, I went on, found some SLS free toothpaste, bought it, started to use it. It's all very nice. And then I discovered that it was also fluoride free. And a lot of the SLS free toothpastes are vegan, all sorts of, nowhere near any animal products, etc., etc., etc. But they're also fluoride free. And that is not a good idea for if we're trying to look on the tooth decay front. So do the research. Obviously not going to sort of say any particular brand. I've now bought another brand, and I'm trying that one out. And it's worth looking at, I think. By definition, this whole sort of podcast series is sort of based on my lived experience, which is why it's really focused. I've tried to put the focus this time on expectations and try and manage the expectations, because I'm feeling much better about it now, because I think it is a slow process, and I'm happy with it being a slow process of movement in the right direction, rather than having had a couple of months thinking, oh my goodness, I'm in the 0.1 of 1% that is doomed to permanent damage or whatever. So to continue the theme, the next episode, because it's based on experience, is going to be about managing lymphedema, which is a subject which, again, I didn't fully appreciate the importance of until about week 35, 36, something like that. But it affects us all post-treatment, and the good thing is it can be largely self-managed. So I think that's worth having a look. So until now, is there anything you want to add?
No, I think it's been really insightful, and like you say, that message about managing expectations and also being kind to yourself, isn't it? Because I think what we hear from a lot of patients is their expectations on themselves are quite high, and when they don't meet those expectations, like fatigue management and going back to work and things, they get quite cross with themselves, get frustrated, and a lot of different emotions. And we always say, just be kind to yourself. That inner voice, have the same inner voice that you would have for somebody else. And just, like you say, take each step, look at how far you've come, and talk to other people or listen to podcasts so that you can gauge, actually, I'm not doing too bad.
Yes, yes, I agree. Self-esteem is a big issue. Yeah, that's
talking to other people is really important.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Okay, see you next time.